Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Fish Lift Eat podcast. If you've tuned into the last couple episodes, you know that it's been a little lonely in the studio for me. But I got the boys back today. Got Justin and Papa back helping me drive the boat today. So what's going on, guys?
What up?
Glad to finally have y'all back.
I know it's full house, man. It's been a while.
Good to be back. Yeah.
So joining us today, we got Jeremy from Fetch a Fly. We're going to get to dive into what he's got going on. But why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, Jeremy?
My name's Jeremy with Fetch a Fly, located here in Boone, North Carolina. Excited to be here today.
We're excited to have you. So let's talk a little bit about what Fetch a Fly is and how everybody needs it in their arsenal. So I'm not gonna steal your thunder here. So just go ahead and give us a little description of what you got going on.
Fetch a Fly, it was a telescopic stainless steel pole for those times when you get stuck in trees, rocks, wherever else you get hung up at. I taught myself how to fly fish several years ago, so and now I was constantly losing flies every time I went. So I started developing a tool to kind of help me with that, and that's what led to this. It's a great little tool to have in your wading pack. It extends out 6 feet long, so you can pull down when you get stuck in trees and get them flies back down. Or I use it a lot when I get hung up on underwater logs and things like that. I mean, it just saves me a ton of money on flies, and that was a great thing to start getting out there to other people. So that's when I started producing it and trying to sell it.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think just anglers in general, we end up most of our money gets left in the water a lot of times, right?
I was leaving a small fortune in trees and underwater, that's for sure.
Yeah. So I'm guessing you're primarily trout fishing. Sounds like fly fishing.
Yeah, that's all I do. Like I said, I live up here in Boone, so there's a ton of great trout waters all around me, and that's what I usually hit up, and that's my favorite thing to do.
Nice.
So I can vouch for this thing, man. I picked one up, Jeremy, when back maybe January, February this year.
It's somewhere around there. Yeah, it was right when we probably first started. I think when I first got the shipment, it was around that time. So it was probably around then.
Yeah, I tell you from personal experience as a absolute perfect professional fly fishing expert that thing saved me at least $50-$60 this year, man. And it's I got two hanging in the garage here in the office/podcast studio. But where I haven't used it yet is I haven't used it in the tree. But getting hung up underneath, man, that thing is coming pretty damn handy.
It's good for this time of year too. I hate getting my hands cold when in the winter months when you're fishing. I hate reaching in there to get unsnagged or anything like that. So it's good to have this time of year, if any time of year.
So do you have one handy? I got one handy. We probably should try to show it. Here, you guys keep talking. Let me grab these.
So I know you said
man.
I got a quick question. So you said that it extends out to 6 foot, right?
Mm-hmm.
How big is it when it's collapsed, like for storage space?
It collapses down. It's under 10 inches, so it fits in pretty much any wading pack, most chest rigs, anything like that. Let's see.
There it is.
Got it right there.
There we go. So there it is.
Yeah, I wanted to make something that was small enough to you carry it around and be lightweight. The last thing you need when you're out there wading all day is carrying around something heavy, something bulky. So I want to make something just slide in your wading pack. You forget it's there, then when you get hung in a tree or hung in a rock, something like that, and let me pull this out and get unstuck real quick. I think we did a good job of getting it all kind of the way I wanted it.
I feel a little like
Then we look still robust in there to kind of get you out of some hairy situations too. So that's good.
Yeah, this thing's killer, man, because it fits really well in anything that you're carrying when you're out there, right? If you're just going light. I've had it where I'll hook it down low here, or if I've got my full kit, right, it fits just about anywhere. So it's easily one of the best products I've picked up in a long while, right, and well worth its money. Like immediately, I think I used it the very first day.
Yeah, I still use mine in the same waters I always fish. I'll still manage to get stuck in a tree. It just happens about every, at least once a week. I use it at least.
So what I like about it,
I
man,
think
is that little S hook you got there. What inspired that style hook?
Well, I want to make something on there if you want to push yourself out, like if you were hung up underwater, push it, or that's a great way to just kind of wrap up when you tip it. So you can't get the top fly, so you got a 3-fly rig. You can wrap that around the tippet and kind of help you pull, at least save 2 of the flies if you can't get all 3 down. So I want to make something, versatile that you could use, push, pull, wrap it, whatever you need to do.
Yeah, no, it's pretty inspired little design, man. So we'd like to talk a little bit about the company as a whole. How did you come up with your manufacturing on this one? Is this something you designed yourself, like drew it out, or how did that kind of come about?
Yeah, I went out there. We were fishing one year at a nearby river, and somebody was hung up in a tree, and he was using a big stick to get himself out. And I was like, man, there's got to be a way to do this. Like that next couple of days, I just kind of drew out a design on a piece of paper because I don't really know anything about producing stuff and things like that, and took it to a few distributors, and finally I found one that could actually make it. And once we had it made, we just went ahead and ordered a couple thousand of them and hope for the best.
Man, talk about jumping in.
That's what I'm talking about.
Buy a couple thousand of these, see what we can do. So you're probably learning real quick what it's like to be an entrepreneur, man.
Oh yeah, real quick. It's been fun. I've learned a lot. The sales have been pretty good, so it's been an interesting experience, to say the least.
It's awesome, man. So out of that first few thousand, how you looking?
I think we're somewhere in the 300 range. I believe. I have to look back at everything, but I mean, sales over the last couple months, they picked up really well. At first, it was a little slow. And you start wondering, oh, maybe this wasn't the best idea. But once the summer months hit, they did pick up, and they've been going pretty strong since.
That's awesome. So you got a wife in the background to all this?
Yeah, she kind of keeps tabs on, makes sure she helps me out a lot. She's very supportive and everything. And anytime I need help, because I don't really know a lot about social media and things like that, so she's helped me out with that a ton. So she's been awesome, great support system.
My big question is always like, when you pulled the trigger on a few thousand, did you run that by her, or did you sleep on the couch?
I might have botched the numbers a little bit. I ran it by her.
Casey knows a lot about that.
Yeah, I gotta be careful saying stuff like that now. When we start putting the reels out on Instagram and stuff, and she's, she's really supportive of us, what we're doing here. She's sharing the content that we put out on the reels. So I gotta be careful what Chad might pull out and air to the world for me there. But yeah, there's been some packages show up at my house that have, maybe not given the full background on.
I think it's great to hear though, man, like, because when you jump into something like this, on your own, right, you got to have that support system in check. And I got to experience that with my wife, and she's lived, eat, breathed all that drama, right? So it's good that she's got your back on that, man. It's an important thing.
Yeah, definitely. I couldn't do it without her, that's for sure.
So when you launched, you jumped on a website. Like, what else did you do?
I made my own website. I started an Instagram page, and I just kind of took it from there, and it's been slowly growing. I still don't really know much about the website. I need to do a better job maintaining that, but Instagram page we do pretty good with. I make sure we post stuff and stories and things like that. And every time I have a video of myself or a buddy using the fetch fly, I make sure I put it on there so people can kind of see it. Yeah, I definitely need to do a better job with the website.
Hey man, everybody always does, right? That's always something that's like a continual evolution, and we're finding out over here. With HLE, we're now having to add a fish lift eat page, and it's a constant growing thing, right? So you got to address it all the time. Yeah.
There's so much out there to have stuff on, like YouTube and TikTok, and Instagram and Facebook are just a small portion of it. There's just so many people have so many different types of social media these days. It's really tough to keep up with all of it. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, I get it, man. We get it good. Casey gets it. He launched our TikTok, what, a couple weeks back?
Yeah, it's very new.
It's keeping you busy.
Shameless plug. Fish Lift Eat at TikTok. Go give us a follow.
We're already in the shameless plug stage here. Well, if that's the case,
Man, I will always throw a shameless plug out whenever the opportunity arises.
there it is. Dynamite drop in, Chad.
There it is.
Fish Lift Eat TikTok.
Slide it in the bottom.
There it
So
is.
you're looking to are you looking to hit the shows and expo seasons coming up?
I think so. I think I'd like to. There's a couple in the area, or at least within half a day drive or so. And I think I'd like to at least go to one or two. I mean, I'd be a little scared to go to some of them. I'd probably spend more money than I make there. But it would be a good time to go check out some of them, I believe.
See, that's the stuff you just write off as like networking cost and cost of doing business and things like that.
Just don't show them the beer tabs. Just it was a business deal. It was a business lunch.
Just keep a separate card for that.
So I'm like we said, we're a big fan of the product. I dig that you're jumping into business, right? And you jumped into Hunt Lift Eat over here, and we're doing our best to try to let guys know about this. But I think it'd be a good opportunity to chat a little bit about fly fishing, man. Like, you got Casey over here; he's a professional fly fisherman.
That's what
That's
I hear.
a joke.
So that's how if you're listening to this episode, listen to nothing that comes out of Justin's mouth.
But like for me and Papa, right? Like we love fly fishing, man. So maybe let's talk a little bit about that. You mentioned you got a lot of good water up your direction, trout mostly, but like, what's your favorite fish to get after?
Nothing better than catching a nice brown trout. That's probably my favorite one. But I mean, I'm not very picky. As long as I catch a fish, I don't really care what it is. But yeah, definitely any trout, rainbow, brown, like brook trout as well. But I mean, as long as I'm catching, I'm not too particular.
There you go. What are you fishing for, or what are you using this time of year up in your neck of the woods?
Well, the water's starting to cool off, but right now it's super low. We haven't had any rain hardly at all. But I'm still using a dry dropper setup. I've got a chubby up there, kind of just using it as more of like a strike indicator. And then I've got some jig heads underneath, or just some zebra midges, something small or something heavy, just kind of get down the bottom. Yeah, the things are spooking easy right now. It's the only problem. It's like probably the best time of year to fish because the water's cooler, the temperatures are lower. But you start walking through there, I mean, it just scares everything. They see everything. I mean, the water's just so low right now.
Yeah, we're having the same problem up here, right? Like the water where I was fishing earlier this year, it's down to where I didn't even know the landscape looked like that, right? So I'll have to remember that for next year. But I was out fishing the other day. Everything was 6 inches in. I mean, it was small, but they were spooking quick. So I was hiding behind boulders and trying to shoot across, from behind little boulders and things like that. It's kind of a fun time for strategy.
Yeah, you got to be pretty tactical going through there when the water's this low. I mean, it's I can't remember being this low for a long time, and it makes it for tough fishing. That's for sure.
Yeah. How about you, Papa? How's it treating you out there?
I don't have those problems because we're in the stalker trout capital of the world as far as I'm concerned, and I actually like what you guys are talking about was something I was kind of thinking a lot about last week. I was out on a draw hunt that's on a refuge that's actually not very far from kind of my main fishing hole and where they stock, but I do a lot just to let you know, Jeremy. Like I kind of chase bass, I've got catfish, I've got some gar flies, tried to catch some gar, stuff like that. Like I'm trying to chase every daggum thing I can with fly rod, but where I'm at and these stalkers, like I'm out there and this dude, I'll just be polite, this dude next to me. And he's out there and he's got his fly rod and he's got his gear and he's hollering and carrying on, and wanting to ask everybody out there what they're catching. And he is just beating the ever loving crap out of the water. Like the whole time, he's trying to roll cast and he's not roll casting. He's slapping the water with his rod and his line. He's just, making a freaking mess of everything. but he's catching the hell out of fish because stock trout will hit anything that's pink. Like they don't care. And like everybody's like, what do you use? What do you this? What do you that? I'm like, it's pink, folks. Like he's like, oh, it's my special bot. Like it's a pink midge is what he's using. I'm catching them on a pink egg pattern. Like that guy down there, like it's just it's not a difficult game to play here. And it's not a difficult game to play at all with stocked fish. Like, and I get to the point, like I said, that dude, he just beating the hell out of the water. And I've caught 127 fish since I've been here in the last 4 days. I'm like, cool, but you can't cast for shit. Like, let's go somewhere where you can, like, you actually have to be a fisherman and see how well you do. And like it's
tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, there's no hostility there at all. None.
But I feel like this is an event session for you. Get it all out, man. Get it all out.
There's nothing worse than going to your fishing spot and then having somebody there, especially somebody there that's just chucking it into the water and making a mess. There's nothing worse.
Oh, in this place, it's like I said, everybody knows when the stocking occurs and all of that kind of stuff. And so, like, I mean, there'll be 4 or 5 guys standing next to me or along, kind of in the sandbar next to me. And then there's 7 or 8 dudes with conventional gear up on the bank, just pitching out across you and everything else. And there are other holes to go to that I don't have to deal with so much of that. But, my camp was right there and then I was dealing with all that. But I got to where I was just like, the fish were rising. They were coming out of the water. And so I was pulling out dries trying to see if I couldn't. I was making it more difficult than it had to be, obviously, because they're just not super interested in that kind of stuff. But, trying to see if I couldn't fool one in with a dry, which I never did. But, so yeah, that's my 5-minute bitch session on hillbillies and
I don't know how you do that, man. I'm pretty lucky out here in Colorado. When Chad and I get out, right, we'll hike a bit, man. It's like when I fish the last few times I've been out and most of last year, I didn't even run into another guy out there. It's great.
Yeah,
I'm the only guy there. But on the other hand, on the other flip side, man, like we have to fool the fish, right? Like these guys out here don't bite, man. I was out last week, like I said, and I had size. I think I was pitching a 20 to start on the midge, right? And I was using something dry and big up top, just like you were, right, for a strike indicator. And they wouldn't touch it. So I went down to a 24, 26. And then I finally caught something. So it was like, that's how picky they were being, man. It was crazy.
I can't even see them when they're that small. I can't even tie them. I can't put them on, nothing like that.
Well, yeah. I'm lucky Chad got me these little old man glasses, right? The flip on front right here. And I don't mind it because there ain't nobody around me. So I can wear these things and look stupid. And that's the only way I can get those things tied on.
Oh, those have to come on the next episode now.
Oh, man. Sure. I got a picture of Chad when he bought them. I should go find that. Well, we'll have to call Chad out. Maybe we'll put that in this episode. But he sent a picture out where he's got him and his eyeballs were about this big. And he's sitting there. It was awesome, man. It's probably one of the best things we bought because, tying them on on the river on top of that, man, it's damn near impossible.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have perfect vision and you're tying some small flies, you probably got some sunglasses on. So, I mean, those are perfect just to kind of pop down, take a look at everything, and make sure, you're tying your knots right.
Yeah, I've lost enough where I thought, hey, that's pretty good. And then 2 casts later, where the hell did my fly go?
I'm looking forward to the opportunity to get out and do some stuff like that because like this spot here, the main place that I go, it's there's one stretch. It's about a 2-mile walk or so to get to. You actually walk into private land and they stock the bigger fish there, and it's a catch and release only area. But you still run into quite a few guys there, but it's still there's stock trout, and you can just beat the crap out of them all freaking day long. And the other place I've talked about before that's a little further away that it holds like this place, these fish are dead by June. Like the water heats up too much, but there's another spot where they hold year round, and there's some big fish in there. And Some folks like to try to call them wild. I don't know that I can kind of get with that game, but there are browns there too, and some pretty nice ones. I think a guy caught a 20 or 22-inch brown just the other day out of this place. And so, I mean, they're not stocking them that big. So that dude's been there for a while. So that's good. And it's a nice fishery, but I'll make another jab at somebody. Damn guides are over there trying to fight people for pieces of water to fish for stock trout, which is hilarious. But anyhow, like that's kind of where I'm at. Like I spend most of my time, I get most of my fun out of hitting these places and chasing smallmouth and largemouth and stuff like that, because none of these guys are doing it. Like I think I asked 7 or 8 people while I was there last week, like, you guys ever come here and chase the smallmouth, and showed them a picture of the probably 3-pound smallie that I pulled out this summer, and they're all like, nah, man, we just kind of come up here when we do this, and so that's kind of where I'm at in this neck of the woods,
Oh,
there it is.
There it is.
I knew it was going to make an appearance, man. I knew
You can see into his soul with those things.
Dude.
I'm
That's
telling
how
you.
hard. That's how hard he has to look at his screen to try to make me look good on one of these podcasts.
I just want to know if somebody's took his stapler. You guys ever watched Office Space?
I like it, man. Good drop. Good drop.
I see what you did there.
That's yeah,
awesome.
man. That's a classic pick. Like, we'll have to, when we get that website up and running, we got like bios of everybody. That's gonna be Chad's picture.
Oh, that's Chad's picture, 100%.
I see you back there in the background laughing, Chad.
Oh,
But for
Not
real,
bad.
man, like those come in handy. I don't care how dumb you look, man. They come in
yeah,
handy.
they have to. I don't use any of them yet, but I know that my day's coming. But
When we all get as old as Justin, we'll need them.
Oh,
I'm not that far off anyway.
you'll be there. Y'all be there one day. Don't worry.
Yeah.
The real problem is I can't control my fingers anymore either because I'm so old.
Especially and when they get cold too.
Oh, dude, it's the worst.
That's awful. Yeah, I have that problem when your hands out there are wet and your hands are cold and you just don't even want to be there anymore. It's just
What's cold up in your neck of the woods, Jeremy?
oh man, it gets you'll get down to 0. Wind chill.
Yeah.
You'll get. I think last Christmas we were down like in the negatives. With the wind chill and everything. It does get cold. I mean, we're up here at like 3,500 foot elevation.
Okay.
So it does get cold up here. Never gets too hot. I mean, never really gets above 85 here in Boone. So
That's pretty nice.
nice. But wintertime, January, February can be pretty brutal. Not much fishing to be done then.
Yeah,
it's
it's
not about me.
We can't even find water typically around here.
That's how much ice that time of year.
Yeah, you can find like a hole or two or an embankment that's got some sun, and you might be able to throw in for 15 feet, right? And it's really not even worth it. I'm not good enough to make it worthwhile.
Yeah, we don't have that problem. It was 85 degrees last Wednesday. I was sitting in a makeshift ground blind hunting deer. It was 85 friggin' degrees. Stupid.
Yeah, that's warm.
Well, Jeremy, I got a question.
What's that?
So I'm thumbing through your Instagram here, and I'm noticing, which obviously you talked about your background and your passion's fly fishing, but I don't see anything on the lake. Here's your moment for a 2-minute sales pitch. Why do I need this on my bass boat?
It's a perfect tool to have. You get hung up at the bottom underneath your boat. Don't feel like reaching your arm down there. You have it sitting right there. You need to pull something. If you get stuck, you say you're pulling yourself in and use it to reach out on the dock. Pull yourself in with that as well. It can come in handy. You need to scratch your back while you're out there. It's a great back scratcher as well. Just put it down.
That's what I'm talking about.
Scratch the boat's back. Yeah.
But no, in all seriousness, I mean that was why I asked the question earlier about like how big, whenever it's fully collapsed or whatever, because I mean that's stupid easy just to throw in like the the glove box on my boat, to have it there when I need it, or in the day box that I have up on the deck and stuff. There's a lot of the water I fish, especially this time of year that's 20 plus feet, unless you're going to make a make a really long model for me, but definitely the time of year when we're
I'm
up
thinking about it.
there it is. See, here we go. The streak continues, boys.
Continue.
The streak continues. New stuff gets brought out on this podcast. I do it every time. But no, I'm thinking, summertime or whatever, up flipping lay down shallow, especially around the spawn and stuff, around some of that, some of that shallow cover and docks and stuff like that. I can definitely see, where it'd be an advantage, because a lot of times, like on the boat, it gets kind of tricky when you go up chasing lures, because you're getting in some real shallow water, having to watch and make sure I don't drag the trolling motor and beach the boat and stuff like that. So, I mean, that gives me a 6-foot buffer that, I could get my, get the baits back that my wife thinks I only spent $5 on. I could get them back real easy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, it's definitely meant for, wading trout waters like that. But I mean, it could be used, on the lake. I mean, it's great. Your gutters are clogged and you're in a pinch. You can clean out your gutters with it. I learned that one day. Christmas tree or Christmas lights, you need to take them down out of trees. It can do that as well. I mean, you can use it all around the house.
You want to know where I used it recently? Was for Matchbox cars under the couch, man, for the kid.
Perfect.
Came in real handy. Yeah.
Just reach under there, collect up all the dust, put one of them dust rags on there. Probably get all the dust under the couch as well.
There you go.
So basically what he's saying is you need to buy one for you and then also buy one for your wife to have around the house, and buy one for your kids, so that they don't have to bother you while you're trying to watch the football game to get their toys out from under the couch.
Yeah, we can sell family packs, I mean, we can
Christmas time's coming, I think, one of those little fetch flies would fit real good down in a stocking, right?
Oh, it's a perfect stocking stuffer. Perfect.
Yeah.
I was going
to say one of the something I kind of thought about a while ago that I'm sure somebody's mentioned or you've thought about. We haven't said much of it here. When I first came across this thing, or when Justin first introduced me to it, was I was out and I was throwing stuff subsurface and got hung up under it, and I was in a spot where I could wade up, but I couldn't really see, and I'm not adventurous enough to stick my hand up under a log and stuff. I sound like a hillbilly, but I'm just not that,
Well, in
crazy.
Oklahoma where noodling started?
I don't know if that's where it started, but they probably perfected it.
Okie noodling.
Kentucky.
Yeah.
Kentucky? Okay.
I believe.
I don't know why I was thinking it was like Okie noodling.
But it's because Okies are lunatics. But what I was doing was I just take and slide line, pull the line back through my rod and use my rod tip to kind of fly and poke it loose. Well, a rod tip's not an easy or cheap thing to replace either.
That ain't cheap at all. No, this thing, I would. So I've seen that. I mean, I've seen people they'll turn their rod around and kind of use the reel end to kind of pull it loose like that. But I mean, you don't really want to be throwing your reel or especially your rod tip up there underwater or up in a tree. I mean, those rod tips will break. You could sneeze and break a rod tip. So that's what worried me.
Yeah,
I've taken my reel off of my rod before and threw the entire rod down trying to get stuff loose before. I don't recommend that. Just say do not do that. But in a pinch, I have had a bait stuck and I've just taken the whole reel off, left the line on, but then I just slung the rod like a little dart all the way down there trying to knock stuff loose.
Well, they make a tool like that for bass fishing, don't they? Like a weight you could take and kind of sling down. I don't know how well they work, but I've seen those before.
I've never found. I mean, I've played with them. I mean, that they do work, but I've never found one that's like this is the one.
Yes, I mean, what if you are like 20 feet down the bottom? I mean, I don't think you can really throw it hard enough. I mean, maybe you can. I don't know, but I'd be worried you could throw it hard enough to knock it loose.
Yeah, I don't have a good solution for getting it at 20 feet. I can tell you plenty of brush piles around all the lakes up here where plenty of my hooks are hung up and never to be seen again. Some of them may still have a fish on them. I don't know.
That's just what you like to think, at least, right?
Well, everyone that's ever broke me off has been at least 10 pounds too.
Yeah, of course.
It's never a small one that gets you.
I'm saying,
it's the only thing big enough to break, right?
That's it. It had nothing to do with me checking and, throwing line that still had some phrase in it or, nothing like that. Everything was pristine, perfect knots every time.
Yep.
The only fish that I was going after was nothing but big. So it's always the big ones that get away.
I've been there. I lost a fly last week. I was casting and casting and casting and casting. I was like, there you go. I was catching fish like crazy a while ago. I'm not catching anything. And I pull everything. I never even stopped to look, and fly popped off at some point in time. I had no idea it was going.
It'll get me on my back cast. I'll back cast back, and I'll hit like a leaf or something back there, and I'll just keep going. And then I'll look, and I don't have anything. I'm not throwing anything at all. It's always the worst feeling. You look around for it, you can never find it. It could be that far away from you, but they're always gone. You never see them find it anywhere.
That's the problem I had the last couple of weeks, right? Because I was telling you that little midge so damn small. I'm seeing my big light fluffy. We're going, and then sure enough, I had lost the tippet in that little fly, but you couldn't see it. So like unless you're taking the time every once in a while, like, yep, still there. That's been my biggest problem is they just go right quick, but you can't see them.
Yeah. Yep, that was my issue.
Well, now that we gave the 5-star sales pitch about why a fetch a fly is useful in the hands of every human being walking, where can people go to purchase one of these at, Jeremy?
Get anywhere online. We're on Amazon, eBay, Shopify. We'll also do Venmo, whatever. Well, if you want a fetch a fly, we'll find a way to get it to you.
Nice.
What's your website?
www.fetchafly.com. And that'll give you a link to our eBay page. I think Amazon's on there as well. I'll have to double check, but it'll give you a link to our Instagram as well. That's where we have most of our current social media, on there.
I'll make my pitch. Go Venmo, find him on Instagram so he doesn't give any money away to the bad guys.
Yeah, we don't like Jeff Bezos. Don't give him too much money.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I'm saying. We bought all ours direct to you, man, through Venmo. That's the way to go.
I appreciate that.
That's awesome. So, my goal in the interim now is to get you some content for that Instagram page that diversifies you a little bit and not just all fly fishing.
I'll send you one. You'll find a way to use it on the lake. I promise you that.
If you want a video of me getting Matchbox cars out of my couch, I'll do that too.
I'll take any content, any and all content we will take. We'll put it on there.
And I'm about to hang Christmas lights, so maybe I'll test that one out too.
Hey, January, February, March, whenever you get around taking yours down. I think I took mine down in March last year. I'm not sure. Just take a video. It does help. They may not work the next year because you just kind of yank them down, but it does.
But you got them down.
Got them down.
So you got a whole year to worry about that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can make it to the summer, you might as well just leave them up till the next year.
I'm saying just rotate right on around. Chad knows all about that. He's Mr. Christmas. They got their stuff up usually year round.
I'm all about Christmas, but like I turn into Buddy the Elf day after Thanksgiving, but I can't get into it till then.
What's that?
I'm all in all the time. It's my favorite time. I'm actually slacking this year. I don't even have anything up yet, but I've definitely been bebopping around to my Christmas tunes.
Man, it was like a month ago. Home Depot had everything up, and I was like, "All right, it's that time of year. Let's do this." So we were already buying blow ups. I had the kid up there. He's already stopped in at the Home Depot at least 3 times to look at all the Christmas stuff.
They had it. Lowe's Hardware had it up in September.
Yeah,
September. Into September, they had Christmas stuff up.
That's crazy.
Now it's taking over like half the stores. You walk in there, it's just everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Sooner every year.
So, Jeremy, you got any plans of getting your product in on like a storefront level?
I would like to. I've spoken to a few stores about it back when I first started, and they wanted like a universal product code and things like that. Of course, I had no idea what that was. I had to Google what a UPC was. So we weren't quite ready for the push for spring and summer, but I'm hoping by this spring we should be ready to push some out there. That would definitely be pretty awesome if we can get in some of those stores. I'd look forward to trying to.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about a few fishing stories so far. But one thing we want to make sure that we have the opportunity to ask everybody that comes on here is to tell us about your one favorite fishing story, whatever it may be. It's what you got.
My favorite fishing story is probably, I would say, it's a couple days before my son was born, and we went out there. It was right by my house. I went down there, and I had my daughter with me, and we were fishing the same hole we usually fish. And we'd been there a little while, didn't catch anything, and then we were getting ready to leave. We were probably there like 30 minutes. We were getting ready to head back home, and I just got a massive bite, and the line just went running, and I kind of pulled it in a little bit. And I probably fought that thing for 10 minutes or so, but it was a massive, massive rainbow trout. And my daughter was actually there. She netted it for me. She was about 3 or 4 at the time. I think it was about as tall as she was. She's pretty little.
Awesome.
But she ran out there with a little net, and I don't even think it was a very good net. It barely fit in the net. But she kind of ran out there, kind of got it in there, and it started flopping on her. She dropped the net. I kind of had to grab it and almost ran into the water to get it back. But we almost lost it, but we were able to pull it in with the assist from Olivia there. So that's probably any fish we've caught, with the kids. It's probably my favorite ones.
Heck yeah.
So how old is your daughter now?
She's 5 now, but I think she's about 3 at the time, and she was I think was about the size of her.
That's awesome. So is she into fishing then? Now that she's had those fun experiences with you, or where's she at?
She's hit or miss. She likes time flies a little better, I think, than fishing. She would rather be, inside time flies, I think. But my son, who was just getting ready to be born when we caught that fish, he's 2 now. He loves going. He'll pick a fish up out of the net, both hands, hold it up. I think I had one on my Instagram a couple of days ago. He had about 14-inch brown trout. Just picked it right up out of the net. He's trying to kiss it. It's pretty funny.
That's awesome.
He's all about fishing right now.
That's how my boys are. They've got to lay hands on every fish we catch. They think we have to, we have to grab it, we have to pet it, we have to take a picture with it. Every fish is a trophy fish to them, and it's so much fun.
That's what's good about taking kids, trout fishing. I mean, even if you only catch a little 6-inch trout, it still makes their day. They're happy to see it. Weston, he just loves throwing it back in the water. Hadn't really got down the fish etiquette quite yet with Weston, but we're working on it.
That's awesome, man. I got my son, he's 2, just turned 3, but he got his first fish this summer. We were at a little farm pond kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's got his little, pole from Cabela's 2 or 3 feet long or whatever, right? We cast in there, and it couldn't have been in 2 minutes. I was looking at my daughter trying to help her. He's standing there just staring at me. I'm like, what's up? What's up? I see the pole's just out of control. And he ended up bringing in a 14-inch rainbow. And
wow.
I had to dive in the water. I had to hop in up to my waist, get it netted.
I think I saw a picture of that actually.
Yeah, I posted it, man. I'm proud. I put it everywhere. It's up at my house too. We got that thing in, and I thought, because he's a boy's boy, right? And I thought he's gonna be all about this. Man, he didn't want anything to do with that fish. He didn't want to touch it, nothing, right? And so I was pretty bummed out, and well, at least he caught one. We got a picture. He's standing next to it, freaked out. But about an hour later, my daughter catches a decent sized rainbow, and by that time, he saw the other kids, handling the fish. And after that, it was like, too bad for the fish, man, because he grabbed that thing and he's throwing it around, and it was all over the place. It took me everything I had to revive that thing and get it back in the water. So now we're in that game where he likes to beat him up pretty good.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's where Weston's at. He'll pick him up and act like he's going to be sweet, but he really just wants to toss him around and things like, yeah, there it is.
Yeah, now it's way public, man. Look at that. See, I can be proud all the time. It was a good fish, man.
Yeah, that's a nice sized fish there.
See the picture before that.
Like that.
First picture, he's probably back like that.
Yeah, he was freaked out. But that's the problem, Casey. My daughter's first fish was a monster at a little pond tournament, same pond. She won the tournament with it was a monster rainbow. And now she's like, if she catches anything less than 18 inches, she's like, eh. And I was like, well, that ain't how it goes. So you're gonna have to change your attitude, lower your bar.
That'd be like going deer hunting for the first time and shooting a booner.
don't let my kids shoot big deer their first time around. You're shooting a doe or a spike. If a 10-point walks out, I'm just gonna have to, during the youth season, I'm gonna have to eat it. If not, if it's during regular season and you're hunting with Dad, sorry, Dad's taking that one. You don't get to have that first time around. There's too much of a precedence there. You get to catch 3-inch sunfish, and you got to shoot dinks. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, man. I started out the wrong way. Their bars are way too high.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's definitely fun getting to kind of live those experiences through their eyes.
Oh,
Yeah, just seeing how, little fish that get me. Look at that picture.
There you go. Yep.
That
That was the first one right there. That thing won the tourney.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
it is crazy.
Pretty beast of a fish, and she caught that on a Barbie pole too. That was the best part. Like
those Barbie poles are durable, man.
Hey, man, you just rip the fish right out of the water.
They're more durable than some fly rods, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
My kid's already gotten he won't use his little rod anymore. I don't know. He has a perspective or something that he thinks that Dad's rod catches more fish or something. So now he has to use a full size spinning rod. And so now, well, I'm sitting there when he has his little rod, I'm not as worried about it ending up at the bottom of the lake. But now when he's holding mine, it's just I basically have my hands just an inch off of him to where I can dive on it real quick. I'm please do not throw that in the water.
Well, my daughter, a couple weeks ago, my middle daughter, she brought in a I don't know, probably 16 or 18-inch freaking carp on one of those little Dock Demon rigs,
Yeah.
We got when she's 11, and I think we got it when she was 3, and I don't think the line's ever been changed on it or anything like that. And we were just out camping, and she wanted to go down to the water, and she was, just throwing little jigs or whatever, and comes back carrying this fish. She's like, the line broke when I got him to me, but I got in the water and got him. I was like, holy crap. Awesome. It was good stuff. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, man.
That stuff, man.
That's awesome. Well, Jeremy, man, I really appreciate you coming on here and, telling us a little bit about your product and kind of how it came to be and how useful it can really truly be for everybody, no matter what kind of fishing application or around the house application you might have. But, just one more time, let's go ahead and, tell everybody where they can find you on social media, and then your website and everything like that, and anything relative to your product that you might want to include on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, website is www.fetchfly.com. Instagram is @fetchandfly. Email is fetchandfly@gmail.com. I mean, any way you can get in touch with us, we'd love to get some fetch flies out there. I mean, really, it's just a great product. I mean, just especially for beginners. I mean, there's nothing more demoralizing than going out there as a beginner and just getting hung up in a tree and taking 30 minutes to tie your rig back together and losing flies that cost $3 to $4 a piece. It's really, if you're just going to get into fly fishing, it's just a perfect thing to keep on you, just so you can kind of give yourself a chance at, catching some fish and not losing a bunch of flies. That's for sure.
Absolutely. So to all our listeners out there, we're coming up on the holiday season here. You always run into a situation of having to, you got that family member or somebody that's coming to Christmas dinner that you're obligated to buy them a gift, but you just don't know what to get them. You might as well get them something that they can use. So get them a fetch fly. If you got kids that are getting, starting to get into fishing or anything like that, get them one for the stocking. That'd be cool. They can use it as a
two boys around the same age. They can just go out there and sword fight with them too. I mean, keep them occupied for a while.
You can have a lightsaber fight in the morning, and then you can save all your lures that afternoon when you go fishing.
Multi-use. I mean, you could use it anywhere.
It'd be that selfish sleeper gift for Dirty Santa that nobody else is going to take.
There you go. I like the way you think, Papa.
Perfect.
Oh yeah, but y'all, make sure you go support Jeremy. Go follow him on his socials. Pick up some fetch flies to to get them in your area and use them. And then whenever you do, make sure you tag him and tag us so that we can, we can follow along with what you're doing out there and how you're using it. And then while you're on there, we'll go ahead and tell you, make sure you're following Fish Lift Eat Official on Instagram. Tag us in all your adventures as well. We'd be more than happy to feature you on there and connect with you through that. We're on TikTok as well at Fish Lift Eat. And then while we're on the holiday plug here, head on over to huntlifteat.com and pick up your loved ones some Fish Lift Eat gear. See Justin's rocking the Wilders hoodie over there. We got, the Fish Lift Eat t-shirts. Chad's rocking the hat back there. We'll have to get Papa something, but get you some Fish Lift Eat gear. You'll love it. But and other than that, we just we really appreciate everybody tuning back in for this week's episode. I know you're going to enjoy it as much as we have. But Jeremy, we look forward to seeing how you grow your business. And being able to get these products out on the water and use them and save us all some money, because that's always a plus when you can come back with almost as much gear as you left with.
That is always good to leave with close to what you had when you got there.
Awesome, man.
Thank you.
Well, gentlemen, I have enjoyed it thoroughly. I'm glad that we had the full crew back today. So that maybe our ratings will go back up this week since everybody didn't have to just sit around and listen to me babble along.
I did enjoy that last one, man. I enjoyed the Nugent one, to be honest.
Oh yeah, we had a lot of fun with it. But well, until next week, we'll catch you then. But in the meantime, make sure you keep them lines wet, and we'll catch you on the next cast. See ya.